Hi, this is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. And I want to talk to you today about what's going to be happening this week. This week, in the month of July, we're focusing on Healthy Vision Month. That is one of the national initiatives. And I know when you think about vision, you think about, okay, I need to get my eyes checked, and we think about vitamin A. But do you think about what else your eyes are made of and what other barriers can interfere with healthy vision? Remember, in a spiritual sense, because Create a Generational Love Cycle, we talk about not only the physical nature of our body, but also the spiritual nature of our body, that our body is the vehicle for our message, and that I see the light, the eyes, the functional eyes that we have as the headlights of our vehicle. For them, when we have them functioning correctly, just like a car, when we have them functioning correctly, when we clean them off, clear them out, make sure that our vision, we can see well, then we're able to see better where we are going. And the more you take care of your eyes, what you'll find out if you haven't already, is the more you're taking care of your body in general. Because our body is a gift from God. If you think about the amazing work that every organ does to keep us intact, to keep us getting up every morning, to keep us seeing the truth, and to keep us reflecting our light outward, we take care of this body that we have been given as the vehicle for our divine message. We all have a gift. We have work to do. There are things that there are things that we accomplish while we're here on earth. And in order to maximize our body efficiently and effectively, we take care of every single part because everything works together as whole. So Create Your Generational Love Cycle is based on the foundation that, yes, we want our children to be successful. We want them to have material success, but we also too want them to be able to enjoy their success. We want them to be successful, healthy. Number two, our children should not have to wait until they're older to realize what is considered healthy weight, what is considered physical activity. They shouldn't be at risk in adolescence, if you will, with heart disease and even if they are at risk, what are we doing as parents to create that generational love cycle, that they love themselves, that they take care of their body? So as we continue to work through Healthy Vision Month, the first part of my podcast and my blogging is done towards creating understanding. And I think that seed was sown into me early on when I read the Bible at 10 years old. After I experienced sexual abuse, I stood at the crossroads of my life with a broken compass, wondering what to do now. And one of the things that came as a part of that, one of the events that happened was that I read the Bible. And in the Bible, it tells us to get understanding. The whole part, get the knowledge, get the wisdom, get that. And so when I do this podcast, I relay information that I know as a nurse for over 20 years, as a health coach, as a mother, as a wife, as a student of my health. What can we do to keep our body in shape, keep it in order? And of course, we're going to have those days where we feel like we're ahead. We're going to have those days where we feel like we're behind. But all in all, that consistent effort to take care of the body that we were given. And so we want our children to enjoy their fruits of labor. We want them to be able to do that. And also, too, we want them to not only pass on material wealth and success, that mindset of entrepreneurship, business owner, whatever you are giving your children, but to pass on taking care of their body, to pass this knowledge on to them. So as we are learning more about our health, if your children are at the age where they're asking questions, Mom, why? Why are you exercising? Mom, why are you eating broccoli? That's the time to do teachable moments. To say, well, you know what? Broccoli is good for your eyes. It contains good nutrients. to help keep my eyes in good shape, to help keep me seeing things clearly. We use teachable moments, and I've started including that in my blog. I used to do it, and I said, oh my gosh, I stopped doing that. And so as I continue to evolve with this, create a generational love cycle, that I want us to use those moments when we're sitting down at the table, when we're at the ophthalmologist with our children. And I know I've asked, asking the eye doctor, the healthcare provider, what can I do to take care of my eyes? And just getting that conversation going, because the more you talk about it with your healthcare provider, the more it's going to start to sink in. And when it sinks in, the more you're going to do those things to help get your health under control. And you're going to share that information. Your children's going to see it, and they're going to be like asking questions, and they're going to start doing it. So we're creating a generational love cycle by taking care of ourselves from the inside out, right? And so this week, we're going to focus on food. And you will hear that not only do we need to have the knowledge, but faith without works, you guys, is dead. We have to apply the knowledge to ourselves. That many times we'll say, we know, I don't have time to do that. And what it boils down to is that we make time to care for our body. And so in my blog, that I'm going to send out, that I'm mentioning things like lutein, zeaxanthin, which are plant chemical compounds that the plants make, you guys, to prevent themselves from getting disease. And so if you believe that we are an expression of nature, an expression of God, an expression of the Creator, that the very things that we can grow in a container in our house, in the backyard, the very things, the produce section that you see when you first walk into your grocery store, those very items, the ones that come from the earth, as we come from the earth, those are the ones that help to revitalize us, to give us strength, to protect us from conditions, eye diseases such as age-related macular degeneration. There's research to say that those nutrients, those plant compounds, and even antioxidants and minerals such as zinc and vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E, those protect us against eye diseases, clouding of the lenses, the macular part, the back of our eye, the retina, and protecting the retina, where the image we see is transformed into an electrical image and carried off to our brain for us to make sense of it. That these very foods that cost less, because we spend a lot of time making ourselves look good on the outside, the makeup, and not everybody, as you know, women, but there's nothing wrong with beautifying our eyes or doing things to make our eyes look good. But just even eating natural food products can give you the glow that you need, the nutrients, drinking plenty of water. We don't want to forget about our water intake and drinking about half of your body weight. And as you know, one of the things I do want to make sure, and I'll make sure I put this in my blog, is that you definitely want to make sure you check with your doctor before you change any of your eating habits. Check with your healthcare provider, because things like vitamin C, a vitamin C food, grapefruit interferes with the way that many statin drugs work. So, I remember someone telling me that they did not realize that, and they are a grapefruit drink lover. They love grapefruit. And so they were drinking that and wondering what was going on with their medications as far as their cholesterol. And that was the culprit, is that I believe it interferes with the enzyme that helps to break down a medication. So anytime you are making any changes to your health, salads and Coumadin, warfarin, make sure you always check with your healthcare provider. There are herbs out there that also too interfere or causes our blood to be thin. Make sure you check with your healthcare provider. So as I say this, and in education I always want to make sure that you are increasing, starting, initiating, continuing communication between your healthcare providers. Everyone should know what's going on with your health, what you're doing. If you're trying a new diet, per se, make sure you talk to your healthcare providers about that. So anyway, so we'll be talking a lot about those foods, and not only talking about them, but again, application. How can you increase spinach and greens in your diet that have lutein in them? How can you maximize that? I know when we think about eggs, we think about cholesterol. Well, how can you make the most of, just one egg a week? And it's the egg yolk that actually has the lutein that helps protect your eyes against cataract. And we know antioxidants are good as far as balancing those free radicals. Free radicals are basically the byproducts, you guys, of a lot of things. They are what your body produces after exercising, which can be beneficial to helping your muscles use up the insulin. Use up the blood sugar. So it helps actually make your muscle cells more sensitive to insulin. And remember, insulin is like that key to unlock the cells. It unlocks the cells to allow the sugar go in, and your muscles burn off that energy. They need that sugar, that glucose, to help them continue to function the way they need to. So free radicals are not all bad. Your immune system uses free radicals to help fight off bacteria and viruses. But as with anything, including food, there has to be a proper balance. And the proper balance can come through the food that we eat, the foods that have antioxidants, green tea or green vegetables, and incorporating that so it can balance off those free radicals, because you can get them with exercise. Like I said, you can get them with smoking, being around smoke, just eating infections, toxins such as air pollution, toxins such as the food sometimes when they're using pesticides, etc. That too can interfere or increase our levels of free radicals. Even having high blood sugar, you guys, increases our free radicals. So again, the foods that we eat help to balance out our body. Grapefruit is good in helping to remove cholesterol. And so remember, you have tiny highways and byways through your eyes that nourish your eyes, that give them the oxygen and the blood supply that they need. And so when cholesterol plaque buildup kind of blocks those highways and byways, therefore preventing oxygen and blood supply from getting to the eyes, that can impact your risk for eye disease and put your eyes at risk. So the things that we eat, you will find out more and more what we eat affects our body on a whole level. When we're eating green vegetables, they're helping to cleanse us out. They're helping to purify our blood, just like they do with just the same thing that happens with plants. And so as I continue to talk about this, I'm looking forward to it because I love talking about food. I love food. I love that we can eat and enjoy food, and how to really maximize that with not skipping so much on the taste, because it's all about finding that creative way to enjoy those traditional foods. And that's something that I'll be talking about this week. I've shared it before in a blog post that I've made a spinach dip. I love the spinach dip that you get at several restaurants, Olive Garden, TGIFs. And I started making that at home. And instead of using, I believe the recipe calls for mayo and maybe ricotta cheese or some type of other cheese, what I will use is yogurt. I'll use either fresh or frozen spinach, cut onions many times in it. I've even put garlic in it. And as I'm thinking about this, I have this picture of he was probably about 5 years old then, he's now 9, but I have this picture of my son leaning over the table into the bowl of the spinach dip that I made And this is the same, and just really going away at it, just really tearing it up. And this is the same boy that told me he didn't like garlic and onions. And I took the picture saying it, and I think I posted it, I'm sure I did, that this is the same son that said he doesn't like garlic and onions. And I used a food processor to really kind of blend in the onions and all of that stuff. And he still ate it. I even made hummus, and he was tearing it up. So we can make foods, and I know you've seen it where people have fried vegetables or so many other ways that we can do it. And I don't want to spend a lot of time hiding the food, because we really want to talk to our children about it. And as you know, the more we give our children something, don't ever be afraid when your children say no, because I used to be afraid to give them foods because I'm like, okay, they're going to say no. And it never fails that many times, often that's when they eat it. When they request and say, hey, mom, can I have this? Now, they're not requesting vegetables all the time, but I've noticed that even with other foods. And so I think the recommendations were to give your children the food 28 times to really know if they like it or not. Keep giving it to them. Dress it up in different ways. The broccoli spinach, the spinach dip that I make, the broccoli and cheese rice. Sometimes Kayla, my daughter, who you think is a Dracula, that instead of not liking the cross, she is almost like the vegetables are gonna like make her melt or something, but I keep giving it to her because I know as a parent that vegetables are good for her, that vegetables help to regulate our body, that vegetables help to protect our eyes, vitamin A, vitamin E, nuts and vitamin C, oranges. I give that to them routinely. And not only does it help protect the eyes, it also helps to boost the immune system. And those fighters, those T cells that actually fight off bacteria. So keep doing it with your children, because the more you do it, the more they appreciate it. And I tell you what, if I give you a scenario, would you rather your child be overweight and undernourished and a teenager or even adult and say, Mom, you're the reason why I'm overweight. You're the reason why I am unhealthy? Or would you rather a small kid fussing at you about the veggies and having a hard time, but grow up as an adult appreciating how much energy they have, appreciating their cholesterol levels, appreciating their low risk for heart disease, appreciating they still have their eyesight and can function, their eyes are functioning normally when they keep getting that positive result from their doctor or a healthcare provider saying, wow, you're in good health. Which one would you rather do? So sometimes we have to go through something in order to come on the other side. And for the children to say, and even I figure this, even if they say it or not, I refuse to have a child that tells that I'm seeing that is overweight as an adult and that is fussing at me about their weight. I refuse that. And I refuse to know as a parent that I had every opportunity and chance to raise them up with good, healthy eating habits. And so even though I'm going to focus on the eyes, you guys, this is more about our whole body and taking care of, again, the temple of the Holy Spirit, the temple of God, the God within us. And so that's how we show gratitude. That's how we show appreciation, is through self-care. And you've seen that self-care is not selfish. Self-care is appreciation for what you have. So I have a few links that I'm going to share with you in this podcast about some foods. I believe it's the American Academy of Ophthalmology. There are some research articles that I will share throughout. And I try to keep it as simple. My goal is to keep it as simple as possible. My goal is to keep it as simple as possible for you, because simplicity, things don't have to be hard. Life doesn't have to be hard. And it's about getting the information in the most simplest form so that we can use it and so that we can share it. And I want your children to be in the healthiest state possible. I want them to to enjoy their life, their success. And I want them to pass on not only their words, but their actions to the next generation. And that is what it's about, leaving a legacy, leaving a generation to generation, just positive health habits, right? And we can do that. One, with us, it starts with us first, right? It starts with us. No matter where you are, you can achieve optimal level of health. You can achieve that no matter where you are, even diabetes, whatever health condition you have. I'm wearing glasses, and you can still make the most of what you have. And that's what I thought, even as a child, that when I went through my experiences, and even as adult experiences, you know how you think about if something leaves you, even you've heard of people, circumstances that if they have, don't have their arm, or if they do lack functional eyesight, they use other things. We use other parts of ourselves to help us continue on and to move on. So just because you may not be in the best shape possible, you may have bad knees, you may have a sensitive gut, there are things you can do and use to help achieve and sustain optimal health. And that's what this podcast is about. How can we do it for ourselves, and how can we do it for our children's and our children's children? This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. Know that you are worth it. Know that your family is worth it. Your legacy is worth it. And there's always enough time to make a big difference. Just the small talks, you guys, with our families, just the small talks with ourselves, and say that I am worth learning about my health. I am worth learning about my body, and I am worth making small changes to help myself. Take care. I'll talk to you soon, you guys. Have a fantastic week.